JFK just came back from the grave and smacked Nancy Pelosi right in her lying face in front of all of America. We'll show you the clip here in a moment. Randy DeSoto for Western Journal reports that following the passage of the House tax reform bill last week, well, Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi invoked the familiar Democrat mantra that tax cuts only benefit the rich, then added that they never have created jobs or paid for themselves. However, the records of the former presidents John F. Kennedy and Ronald Reagan do prove otherwise. Take a look now. Here is Nancy Pelosi running her mouth. Take a look.
Republicans want you to believe that their trickle-down tax breaks for the rich will pay for themselves. Never have. They say they're going to create jobs and pay for themselves. Neither is true.
Now, Nancy's flat out wrong. Both were true of the Kennedy and Reagan tax cuts. In a well-received address to the Economic Club of New York back in December of 1962, Kennedy advocated for across-the-board, top-to-bottom cuts in personal and corporate income taxes. President Trump now and the Republicans are currently seeking to enact similar broad-based cuts. Now listen to Kennedy for himself. Take a look.
The worst deficit comes from a recession. And if we can take the proper action in the proper time, this can be the most important step we could take to prevent another recession. That is the right kind of a tax cut, both for your family budget and the national budget, resulting from a permanent basic reform and reduction in our rate structure, a creative tax cut, creating more jobs and income, and eventually more revenue. Such a bill will be presented to the Congress for action next year. It will include an across-the-board, top-to-bottom cut in both corporate and personal income taxes. It will include long-needed tax reforms that logic and equity demand. And it will date that cut in taxes to take effect as of the start of next year, January 1963. The billions of dollars this bill will place in the hands of the consumer and our businessmen will have both immediate and permanent benefits to our economy. Every dollar released from taxation that is spent or invested will help create a new job and a new salary. And these new jobs and new salaries can create other jobs and other salaries.
There you go. Nancy Pelosi. Maybe you should start listening to John F. Kennedy. I mean, or do some homework at a minimum. Okay, history tells us that what Kennedy said proved true. And similarly, the United States experienced an economic boom following the Reagan tax cuts in the 1980s. See, what Nancy Pelosi is doing here is she does not want these tax cuts to be successful. She does not want you to benefit from these. She doesn't want America to benefit. It's because she only wants power. She wants to restore Democrats to power so they can continue to enslave the American people. That is their goal. Okay? But Nancy Pelosi, the rest of the Democrats, well, they need to put their heads on straight and think about the American people for once instead of their own personal interests and agendas. Do you agree? Weigh in the comments section. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And if you like what we're doing here, give us a thumbs up.